What's the saddest thing to hear? It's okay, I'm used to it. As a response to? When your friends start making plans in front of you. Then you see the pictures on Facebook. People kind of suck. Edit, this was years ago when I was in 6th form, aged 16 to 17. I've made better friends since, and although we don't see each other often, we never leave anyone out of plans. Smiley face. Still, it does hurt when it happens to you and you don't know what you're doing wrong in social situations to make people like you to your face, but apparently it's fake. I'll still never know, but whatever, we live and learn. If anyone has any friends who do this, just drop them. It's not worth it. Had a friend who was really lonely and his old friends were awful to him. Like there was one girl who would just hit him and stuff and emotionally abuse him really bad, but he didn't have any other friends, so he just stuck with it. Accidentally hit him lightly or something when he said, "It's okay, I'm used to it." And I felt so bad for the poor guy. He's fine now though. Been there, done that. Sometimes I used to miss the abuse. At least someone wanted to spend time with me. My son talking about how his mother, my ex-wife, talks to him. During our marriage she would take everything out on me, whether it was my fault or not. Too busy at work, shout at me. Her family coming to visit, shout at me. Now we are apart, she does the same thing to him. He moves between both houses by his own choice. Last week she told him, "You might as well leave." As you would imagine, he was very upset. When he got to my place he was making excuses for her and actually said, "It's okay, I'm used to it." I have never spoken badly about his mother to any of my children until now. I have been talking him since then that she used to do this to me and that it's actually not okay. He has spent a lot of time considering what I have been saying. He is 20 and has said he is going to have a discussion with her about it. I hope she acts like as much of an adult as he is, but I don't like the chances of that. I am 20, and I grew up in a simultaneously very loving and very verbally, physically, and emotionally abusive household. God knows, while I love my parents and we have a better relationship than we did in my teens, they definitely screwed me up in a lot of ways. If your son isn't removed from this kind of situation ASAP, he can end up having a lot of my flaws. I'm easy to anger, hugely defensive sometimes, sensitive to criticism because it always feels like an attack, and quite reactionary at times. It's flared up in workplaces, friendships, relationships, etc., and has been damaging to aspects of my life. Luckily, I've been able to curb it most of the time. I attribute most of that to the distance I put between myself and the abuse in the short years between my teens and adulthood. I ran away from home for long periods of time between high school and university and stayed with a very kind family. To hear that this abuse in your son's life has progressed into his adulthood is very disconcerting. Unless he is a total saint, this is going to take root in his heart and rot him from the inside out, and it's going to do it real fast. God bless you for having noticed it and speaking up about it. For background, people of my background, for reference, I'm Bengali, brush this off as a joke. Most POC who are beat in their childhood do this, from what I've seen. Speaking frankly, it's a defense mechanism. There wasn't anything we could really do about it then, so we joke about it in adulthood to cope with it. People talk all kinds of about how children who aren't beat do not turn out right. Not only is that kind of mentality super dumb and not truthful or backed by any kind of real data or research at all, it propagates and continues this cycle of violence against children. Edit, I'd no idea this would get so many responses. I'm trying to get back to everyone who seems to need it. Please don't hesitate to PM me, I mean it when I say I'm here to chat. When I'd go to my friend's house, and their parents would just belittle them and make them visibly upset. Heartbreaker, man. I was raised by, let's say, strict parents. As a kid I was always weirded out when I'd visit my friends and they'd talk all friendly with their parents. I used to think, WTF, why aren't they afraid of them? Same exact thing for me. I'd go over to my friend's house and think, you aren't afraid to ask them that. Or, isn't she gonna get mad if you ask that? One day my friend asked me, is your life at home okay? And I lied and said yeah. But eventually I confided in him and broke down crying, saying all that my mom would do and say to me. Really helped me out being able to talk to someone. Because to anyone else my mom looked like a great mom. From the outside looking in, she gave me everything I needed, but she would belittle me and hurt me behind closed doors. Any advice on getting over that once you've moved out? Look for a counselor, especially if you are at a university, since they usually have them. If you are unwilling, then check in at one of the suicide helplines. Even if you are not actually suicidal, they should be equipped to deal with it too. Instead of a hotline, look for a crisis hotline, similar workings but not just for people with suicidal tendencies. Anyone who needs someone to talk to can usually call and confide with a counselor, and they have links and numbers to sources that can help you. I had the opposite thing happen when I went to my friend's house. I got to see what a loving family that actually enjoyed each other's company looked like. I didn't grow up in an abusive family, but my family is not particularly warm or close, and there is an abundance of mental health problems and alcoholism. Family gatherings were more awkward and stressful than anything, and they only happened during holidays. To really hammer the point home to me about what a good family is like, when I moved in with my son and did stuff with his family, I nearly cried every night when we got home because they were just so welcoming, loving, and happy with each other. They had family dinners and BBQs together all the time just because. There didn't have to be a reason or a special day. Not gonna lie, I bawled my eyes out at the dialogue between Wolverine and Charles in Logan. This is what life looks like. A home, people who love each other. Safe place. You should take a moment and feel it. That quote still comes to me when we're having family time, and sometimes I have to excuse myself from the table for a couple moments because I'll start tearing up. These are experiences I craved all throughout my childhood, and now I can finally have them. I can relate to this so much that it seems like you're talking about my life. I grew up in a family with a dad who used rage every time he lost control, and it wasn't until I started dating my boyfriend, now husband, that I realized just how much I missed in a family. Spent more time in my childhood tiptoeing around dad's emotions and tending to his demands than getting to know him, and had a mom who wholeheartedly supported him before me. I'd never gone without anything of monetary value, but now understanding how my husband is with his family in spite of how much they have gone through, I'd have thrown my possessions away for a genuine connection with my parents. Now I get to have those experiences I've needed, and his family has accepted me as their own. It's a blessing, really. Now I can see reality and not be part of a facade. Money alone does not equate to a happy family. Preface: my boyfriend has lost his mom, both of his uncles, and his step-grandfather, all separate instances. Literally last Sunday night at midnight, my boyfriend woke me up to tell me that one of his really good friends from high school died. He was so upset and I was so sad for him. I told him how sorry I was for him because I honestly didn't even know what to say. His response: "It's okay. I'm used to it," in the saddest tone I've ever heard. I started crying. How freaking heartbreaking. I can relate to this. As sad as it is, it's true. You get used to it and become almost numb over time. Maybe not get completely used to it, but you're not surprised or as shocked when it happens again. I think the last time I was overcome with emotion was when my mom died when I was 12. I've attended several more funerals since then, from relatives to close friends. I don't cry at funerals anymore. It's not that I'm holding back, I just can't feel anything anymore. I just think how much I miss them, reminisce about better times, then continue on with life. I'm glad your BF has you to open up to. Just being present can make a difference. He'll definitely need someone to listen.